gentlemen, mental pieces. This is Rich Smith, spelled SMYTH, because I wrongly called you Smythe at the beginning.
I've been doing the same thing.
All right, so you're not sure.
I know it's the Irish Smith.
Right, that's the Irish.
But apparently, most of my life I've been thinking it's pronounced Smythe.
Really? Mm. But it's actually Smith.
It's actually the Irish way of spelling
because Smythe is usually with an E, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Anyway, this is Rich Smith or Smythe, whichever you want to do. You know, it depends whether you're in Ireland or in England. Mm-hmm. But so far we've had interviews with the family people way back from 1968, the original. Now, Rich, I met a bit later in life. We're going to do a series of people that came into the family, so to speak, later. And so, can you remember when we first met, Rich?
I barely remember meeting you today, to be honest. But
likewise. Come on, I'm 80. I've got an excuse.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was for a student film that I was putting together. It was my final student film. I decided to do a comedy, and I needed a part of a. How would you describe the character? What did I call it?
I think it was a ex-student.
That was it.
Old man, wasn't it?
An old ex-student talking about their how what student life used to be like in the good old days.
That's right.
So I held auditions, and that's when I met you, and you did the most perfect. Hilarious. I think yours is the only audition that we did where we couldn't keep to ourselves, and we actually just kept laughing for it.
I think we did. It's a pity you haven't got the original audition tape.
No, unfortunately, it's on a damaged hard drive, so I mean it's recoverable, but not for a small amount of money.
That's right, because I do remember that I think it was through Star Now, which I was on, and I just saw this come up, student movie, and I thought, well, why not? You know, I thought, well, you know, I've done a few things, and I thought, why not? So I just went along to the audition. Now, the funny thing is that there was another guy there, I think, that I'd been in Harry Potter with. Peter.
Oh, okay.
I think it was, and of course you chose me for the old man rather than him. So I don't know whether we thought of that, but anyway.
I didn't realise that.
Because a lot of them go in for lots of different auditions, you know.
Yeah, of course.
So what were your experiences of my audition then?
Just the fact that you couldn't stop us from cracking up during. Because I remember like during it, we'd try and hold it in, and then when time you got to the end of the line that you were speaking, you'd freeze and sort of look at us as if to say, "Was that it? Was that what you were looking for?" And we'd burst out laughing. So, I think I hit the mark on that one.
That's right, because I think you sort of wrote it down some notes, didn't you, for me to read from, if I remember right.
Yeah, I think you just.
And I just sort of gave I know I totally improvised. You give me a response more or less, and you said to me, "You don't have to stick exactly to that." So I just kind of improvised and passed the whole thing through.
Yeah.
So, and that was a thing called Student Watch, wasn't it?
Yes, so Student Watch.
Yeah, which you did as a student project.
It was my final student project.
Yeah.
I wanted to do a comedy because everyone told me not to.
Okay. And here at this point is a clip of Student Watch with me as the old student.
To some uninformed people, students these days are associated with the image of being mindless, lazy, intoxicated wasters who are utterly worthless. Although this is entirely true, some students manage to produce some sort of results and end up with actual jobs. So how is this possible?
never had any of this foreign stuff, like, you know, like spaghetti and noodles and stuff like that. No, it was all like bangers and mash and fish and chips and spaghetti bolognese, really. No foreign stuff. It was all good English stuff, like, yeah.
Actually, I think students shouldn't eat. Well, they should eat as little as possible. Food stimulates the mind, it increases metabolism, it gives you more energy. I really don't particularly think that students need any more energy.
It has been noted that students gain most of their sustenance through alcohol. This, coincidentally, seems to be where most of their money seems to go. This also allows the student to be able to communicate without any shame or awkwardness in nightclubs. But it also has the result of dancing like an idiot, strutting around and being drunk enough to think they look sexy while they do it.
Oh, alcohol. Oh, no, we've never had alcohol. No, we couldn't afford that. It was just the odd glass of lager and that, you know, we used to have then. Not alcohol, not like what they have now, like this, what they call it, J-Lo or something, is it, in bottles and stuff like that, don't they? All these young women, they eat all that, they drink this J-Lo stuff. No, it was all lager and lime in my days.
Some students may go that step further and try illicit drugs, such as cannabis or paracetamol. Want some, son? You do want some! I can see it in your eyes! This will result
at the end of the day, you know, internet stalking is not illegal, which actually gives you, I don't know, more of an option to keep a closer eye on your more promising and interesting students.
Internet, not what it was like, you know, when I was at university, really. Nowadays it's full of ASBOs and AIDS and things like that, you know. No, in my days it was more about the Queen's speech and cream cakes and ice cream and stuff like that, really, you know.
You've no idea what the internet is, do you?
No, I haven't, no, not at all.
So that was a project then that you just seen there, folks. That was a project for your student that you were doing at the time at uni.
The student I was doing.
I don't mean the student you were doing. I mean the project was for an examination for a what? What was the idea of doing the film?
I think, you know, a lot of it was I'd been watching a lot of like different satirical things like Charlie Brooker's stuff and Ricky Gervais things.
Yeah.
So it was a combination of two things. One was that everyone kept saying don't do comedy because it's too much it's one of the hardest art forms to do.
Apparently.
So I decided to do that.
Yes, exactly. And it worked, folks. It worked.
And the second thing was that, you know, I wanted to do something that, I mean, there's many of the directors and creators I really respect have a really good time and almost a relaxed time making things.
Yeah.
So I wanted to aspire to do that.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And then once you'd met, then you met me and Nikki, of course, because I did that. I don't think you come along. Did Nikki come along with me to the audition?
Yes.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did. So you'd met both of us then.
Yeah.
And we kind of hit it off instantly, didn't we? Became like instant friends, more or
Yeah,
less,
because I mean,
because we had such a good rapport.
we had a good rapport like during the audition. Then obviously I came round to yours to do the actual filming.
That was right. Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, you did the audition at the university,
That's
and then
right.
then I came down to do the actual filming, and and it was I remember I screwed up a few of the takes just because I started laughing during what you're saying. I mean, to have someone talking very sweetly about their past life and then suddenly turn the topic to masturbating at university, it was really hard to hold it together.
Well, That's right. That was a bit I improvised myself, wasn't it? Yeah. I think. Well, a lot. Again, here's
However,
the
if we look at this graph of the Duracell battery share price, we can see that the female student is more than happy to polish herself off and do the job properly.
Well, back, you know, when I was a university student, sex hadn't been invented yet. No. We used to date a girl, we used to take her out somewhere, then at the end of the evening, we'd bring her back. I would take her to the door of her flat, give her a nice tender kiss on the cheek, like, you know, and then I'd go back to my pad and then masturbate like mad, like, you know. But of course, we always used a condom because, you know, you can't be too careful there, can you? Know what I mean?
So,
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all right.
We're okay.
We're okay.
I felt like I was going to have one of those, like, sort of flashback moments and we all sort of...
Anyway, I can cut this about.
Yeah, you can cut this bit.
Don't worry. Anyway, so then once we'd done that, I think you got fascinated with me and Nikki, and you decided to do a little profile, didn't you? A face-to-face thing.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, I was trying to at the time put a series of like just video interviews with people I found genuinely interesting.
That's right.
And you were the first one I put together.
Oh right, I thought
Yours was also the longest one I put
together. Was that come later?
Richard Herring. There was another one with Al Murray. Another one with Andrew O'Neill, who's another stand-up comedian, and Chesney Hawkes.
Chesney Hawkes, who's of course my nephew.
Yeah.
Second cousin, really. There you go. And so you did this little thing on me and Nikki.
Yeah.
Which perhaps we'll show a little bit of that at the end. I think maybe.
Yeah.
Right. And then from there on, I don't know how it happened, but I think you did some things on my computer because I don't know, technical things. And like Rich became like my technical bod. Didn't they? And so, you know, every so often he'd sort of update I think there was a few bits and pieces I wanted on the computer. You sort of managed to track them down or recommended things and how I could get things going a lot better on that. So but in that time, that was originally that was in 2010.
Yeah,
we did this
when we did the filming stuff, 2010.
Filming originally, and now that's 8 years ago because it was 2018 now. So we've known each other quite a while.
Yeah,
and then I think after that, you did the Ricky Gervais thing as.
Oh yeah. That was the only good thing that came out of that project idea was the pit. There was the little skit I did with I've almost forgotten about that.
Yes.
So it was going to be part of a larger project that I was going to do about basically how Ricky Gervais was ruining everyone's lives, and the only thing that ended up sticking was the piece I did with you and Nikki. Yes, and that was a lot of fun. I forgot.
Yeah. It was. Ricky Gervais ruined my life.
Yes.
And I didn't realise that Nikki was such a good actress because and we'll show a clip of that, shall we, Rich?
Yeah.
This is a bit of that with Nikki doing her bit actually. That's how it made us all laugh.
So look at that.
Pete, I mean, I could talk about him all day. We've been together such a long time now, and he's wonderful. I mean, God, we go to the cinema, go to the pub, have meals out. We do loads of things together. Days out, we go on holidays. Oh, I mean, there's a big age gap, and I know a lot of people don't like that, but hey, I'm happy with it. That's what matters. Oh dear. And then he discovers.
So there's Nikki and me. But look, there's David Brent. There's Ricky Gervais overlooking everything while I'm doing my work. What do you reckon?
Oh, what a nightmare. I mean, He eats, drinks, sleeps. Ricky Gervais. What am I supposed to do? He's just turned into him. He wants to be him day and night, and I've got him 24/7 now. Ricky Gervais this, and he's discovered him, and that's all he's interested in now. And Pete, he's gone. It's just Ricky Gervais now. What am I supposed to do? Pete's never been able to grow a full beard, you know. It's halfway. I actually caught him with my eyeliner. I mean, doing a David Brent goatee on his face. Would you believe it? He has also been known to get me to do remakes of different scenes of The Office.
Right, come on, Nicky. I don't know how much battery's left in this. Come on.
I really don't feel comfortable about this.
Oh, it'll be good. Come on.
He feels offensive.
No, come on, trust me. Come in here, sit down. We'll do this scene. Right, you've got everything set. You know your lines? Well, you can read it if you want.
Yeah.
Okay. And action. Hello, you all right?
Yeah.
You see that film last night? Denzel Washington.
No.
Ah, but mind you, he's not my favourite actor in the world. No, that would be Sidney Poitier.
This feels wrong.
Yeah, well, I didn't like saying, but you're not putting any emotion. You know, deliverance is crap.
I don't care about the acting.
What then?
This whole thing is very racist.
Oh, come on, this was done in the show. Just like this.
Oh, my goodness me. You don't get it. They used an actual black male actor for that, not a blacked up face of female actors for it.
Oh, blacked up. Bit racist, that is. Can't say that sort of thing nowadays, can you?
He's such a dick.
Okay, so after that, where do we go from there? I don't think there's many more films we actually did we?
No, I don't think we did a lot more recording of things. I think a lot of the time I spent with you is usually updating your equipment and
that's right.
things.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always been that kind of thing. Like, I think, there's very few people out there, no matter what age they're at, that are as adventurous as the two of you, and that actually want to actively create content alongside it. Mm-hmm. And I keep noticing there were certain restrictions in your way, technologically speaking. So I didn't want to see you restricted in that sense. So I just keep wanting to make sure that you had the most flexibility in your creative ways.
Yeah, because we do like doing our adventures, and I say we've just done one here. We are at Rich and Katie's place now, and we just did a VR thing, didn't we?
Yeah.
Which was great fun, and that I'm going to try and incorporate that into one of our adventures. So we will get round to the outer space adventure one day.
Yes.
Who knows?
Once the VR is released for it, I'm sure
that's right. That's right. Yeah, and then I do remember you coming round once, and quite a surprise because it was my birthday. I can't remember which birthday it was, and you actually got a cake made in the shape of the MOTF. And yes, and I think we might be able to find a photograph of
there's
or something, but I may have even filmed it.
I'm pretty sure you've got photos of it on your website.
On the website, it's got to be there. I'll have to look to see if we can tag some of those off at the end. Yeah, and then at another time, I think this was it that one or another time, you came and totally changed my whole setup on the computer, because if I remember rightly, we had our television downstairs, like most people do in the living room, and I had the computer separately upstairs with a small monitor. We had the bigger television screen downstairs, and And I don't know how it came about, but I did mention the fact that we don't really watch a lot of telly per se. And you said, I've got an idea. Are you willing to go on with it? and you turned up on this particular occasion. We'd arranged for you to turn up. And you and Katie disappeared. You stayed down here. And we just sat downstairs while you and Katie were up in the office, if I remember right. And you took our television away from the living room.
I know. Wait.
What happened? I can't remember.
That all of that's true. Apart from, I'm pretty sure the TV was already up there.
Oh, we may have actually put the television.
That was a
up
conscious decision on you guys.
was,
You decided to put the TV upstairs.
That was it, because we thought to ourselves, one thing I don't like, folks, is just going to visit someone and they've got the television on all the time. The radio's a different thing because it's non-intrusive. We have the radio on most of the time, but although if we chat, we usually turn it down or turn it off. But a television going with hardly any sound to it, which most people do, is not our thing. And we're not great television fans per se. So we had put the television upstairs, that's right, yes. So the television was up there to keep it out of the living room so it wasn't intrusive when we had visitors. And then Rich had this idea, which, well, you did it. I don't know what you did. All I remember is the results.
Yeah, so basically I just wanted to... I hooked you up with essentially... Long story short, I hooked you up with a new PC setup and with the ability to be able to watch a much wider range of films and things like that. So, yeah, so I mean, before you were using a quite an older PC, it was...
Was indeed.
It was... At the time when I met you, it was still running on an old version of the XP. Yeah.
It's only a Harman Steam radio.
And, yes, it was on running an old version of XP, which I'd upgraded to Windows 7 at some point, but yeah, it was still running a bit rickety. So basically, I just upgraded your whole setup, hooked it up to the television, so you can use that as a big display.
Roku,
and the Roku little TV box, so you can watch.
That's right. So we could switch from originally switch from Windows to Apple.
Yes.
To television, if I remember rightly, or Roku. But I really, sadly, didn't get on terribly well with Apple. Some of the features I loved, but you know, I eventually decided to go back to the Windows, didn't I?
Yes.
Reluctantly, I might add, because I found some of the features on Apple was good. But you know, some of it I couldn't get my head around.
Which is fine.
And I think that was more or less the last big event that we did on the computer, except from very recently. And Rich then introduced me to the wonders of, what do they call it again?
I don't know where you're going with this.
The remote thing where you take my television over.
Oh right, a TeamViewer.
TeamViewer. And
so I can remotely control your PC.
Yes, you see, I didn't even know this. So a lot of my technical knowledge, such as it is, I might add, has come from Rich, because I knew nothing of all these wonders of technology before he came along. And the first time I had problems, and he said, well, switch TeamViewer on. Or was it TeamViewer? We had something...
Before it was Screen Hero.
Screen Hero originally, and he installed that for me so that he could hear, where he lives now in High Wycombe, he could then take over my television, my computer.
Sometimes you don't even ask me to, I just fancy
and you
dropping
just,
in.
you just dropped in on us, you know. Never mind what we're doing, me and Nicky. No, seriously, folks. And I was amazed to see this little cursor just going all over the screen without me doing anything, and clicking on things and installing things all the time, and I was quite amazed actually. And then, as I say, later on we switched from that one to Screen Hero, and that's recently.
No, other way around.
Yeah, the other way round. Yes, that's right. Yeah.
We were on Screen Hero, then we moved to Team Viewer.
Now we've got Team Viewer, which apparently they use quite a lot anyway in companies, don't they?
Yeah.
Nowadays. And the last big thing that Rich did, which is very, very recently, is to took everything all on remote control or TeamViewer, I might add. First of all, we had to get all my files into...
I had to put it all on your external hard drives. Basically backed up all your files, then to wipe your entire PC.
And he wiped the whole thing, yeah. Started from scratch because I had quite a lot of bugs and problems on my...
Yeah, there's quite a few Trojans and...
yeah.
Spyware and everything else.
And trolls and things, you know, bugs on there, and all that. And Rich, the hero that he is a screen hero actually, and he's got my PC up running perfectly, and here we are now, still visiting each other. And it was our turn to come and see Rich and Katie, I might add, who doesn't like being on camera. So Katie and Nikki are well out of the way. But it's been quite a journey so far, hasn't it, Rich?
It has been, yeah.
And I'm sure there'll be lots of journeys afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot more tech support in this description than I've initially anticipated, but you know.
yeah, I'm sure.
I love the fact that so many of our little adventures and things involve me sorting a computer.
Well, the funny thing is that I think there's about 3 or 4 days Rich is working tirelessly on our computer to get all this running smoothly. It took a long time, didn't it?
It did take a long time. I mean, a lot of it I could leave. I just sort of left it doing its thing, but I had to keep my eye on it.
I know, because very often I'd just go to bed and leave it, you know. I'd come down in the morning and this cursor was moving around. Because obviously Rich works, so he gets up earlier than I do. Right? And I just, oh, well, he's all right, okay. Go and have some breakfast, come back, and then I get a little message, and there we go. So I'd like to publicly thank Rich. He's been a great friend, and Katie. And as I say, he really is our screen hero. Thank you, Rich. Thank you very much. And we'll come back in another 50 years. Yeah. And talk about.
I like to think we might have moved by then. So
oh, you may have moved. Yeah.
I'll send you the news.
We may have moved by then. I don't know. Who knows? I'm gonna move anywhere. Okay. Thank you, folks. Thank you, Rich. Thank you, Katie.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I was going to say, the one thing to add on is that, the impact that you've had on my life has been a massive, positivity. And, I mean, it's having some of your, getting to know you and Nikki, seen your positive outlooks on things do genuinely help. Like, I was in this really horrible job.
I wasn't expecting this first.
No.
Go on, yeah.
But then I moved on to when I tried to look for another job which I was going to be happy in. One of the things that always helped me going through the interview process is in the past it would always be, I try to think about talk about these skills or that skills, but I got to the point of thinking just do it how you'd think Pete would do it. And most of the time, I'd go into these interviews basically just trying with this kind of sense of positivity, friendliness, and just trying to make everyone smile or laugh. And by behold, it works, and I got a better job.
Yes, I must admit, if you're, I do know people, put it this way, that go in all guns blazing at people, angrily or whatever. The thing is, Nikki and I, I'll give you an instance. We went to a place called Castle Rising near us. And there was, there's a fee to go into this place. It's a medieval castle, not far from us, is it, Boo? It's not far. No, and we went up there. Admitted we had been on a TV show about age gap. If anyone remembers that, I don't. I've forgotten it. Anyway, But we went up there, and there's a lady on the door, and she said, "Have you two been on television?" I said, "Oh, the age gap thing." "Oh, that's right." So I said, "Anyway, never mind that." I said, "How much is it?" I said, "I'm an old git." I said, well, I think I did that. "I'm an old git." Right? And Nikki's my carer, so what do we pay for a pensioner and a carer? And she looked at it, she said, "For your cheeks," she said, "why don't you just go in for free? There's nobody collecting tickets today anyway." So, and we get that all the time, don't we, Boo? Because if you're amiable, friendly to other people, I find that they're better to you too.
Yeah.
And that's the way it is, I think.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
And another thing, the philosophy is that I've had all my life, is that if you want to do something, if somebody else can do it, you can. There's no limit. So there you go.
Yeah. So that's my philosophy of taking for you is, what would Pete do?
That's lovely. Oh, thank you.
T-shirts are in print.
A true member of the family. Thank you. I think that really is it now.
That is it now.
Yeah. And we'll finish up with a little clip of the thing that Rich did about our relationship, really.
Yes. Well, yours and Nikki's, not ours.
No.
I was born in 1937, 2 years, well, just as Hitler came to power, actually. Of course, so by 1939, war had been declared. My mum used to say to me, "You can go out to play with your cousin Alan, but don't go on the bomb sites." So, of course, the first place we go is the bomb sites, right? We used to go on the bomb sites, and within a few weeks, you would notice plants growing and taking over the bomb sites. And I thought to myself, whatever damage mankind does, nature's always going to win. Where our shelter was, right at the back of our garden, in the middle of 4 gardens where the fences met, was this huge oak tree. And I always felt protected by that oak tree. Although there were hardly any birds around, there was an old owl, and he used to come and nest in that oak tree every night. He never left London. And I felt that oak tree and the owl were sort of looking after us, really, the guardians looking over us. And I thought that was amazing. I always thought to myself, why shouldn't men be able to dress colourful as well as women? But then when I got married, I tried to conform a little, I suppose. But then my first wife died when she was only 31 in 1967, just as the hippie era was starting. And of course I was devastated. I had 2 little girls I brought up on my own. And I thought to myself, why should I be what other people want me to be? And I became a hippie and just let my hair grow and my whiskers, as they are now. Because I was a one-parent family and, I worked with younger people. They used to come round and help me with the children and so on. I become a bit of a guru. So they used to ask my advice because I was an old hippie. I was 31 by this time, And of course it worked out that we had hippies, mods, rockers, straights as they called them. I was a hippie with a difference. I got the kids off the drugs. I used to say to them, look, you can get turned on by music, by art, by poetry, by a lovely garden scene, the nature itself. Why do you need these other substances? And as I said, I couldn't risk taking drugs when I had 2 little girls to look after anyway. I made up this story about Uncle Pete living in this house, and at the bottom of the garden was this big magic oak tree. And then one day, the youngsters said to me, "Do you know, Pete, we're more like a family, and let's call ourselves the Magic Oak Tree family." But the thing is, I get people now, because I run a website, and it's all under the name of the MOTF, Magic Oak Tree family, I get people from all over the world, "Pete, can we join the Magic Oak Tree family? Do we join?" And I used to say to them, and I still do, if you believe you're a part of the MOTF, then you are. Simple as that. When I was left on my own with the girls, with the two children, Vivian and Debbie, and I used to, because obviously they were disrupted, their mother dying, left with me and everything, and we were very, very short of money. And so I used to comfort them, I used to tell them stories. And I said, back in the land of Widgery-Poo, there lived a what was he? And then the girls say, "What was he?" So I say, "Yeah, well, that's what he was. What was he?" There's one part is little Elle says to TikTok, "Oh no, that's irrelevant," and suddenly this pink irrelevant flies down from the sky and lands in front of them. You see, so and little Elle herself, TikTok's walking along and he starts stopping, then he stops starting, and then he stops altogether, and he then gets wound up by an uncontrollable habit. The funny thing is, a lot of adults read them and say, "It does my head in, I can't understand it." And yet 8-year-olds can understand it. It's because I based it on the way children think, not adults. It comes to me and Nikki meeting up. That was all down to my daughter Deborah, and she was asking Deborah for advice as a good friend of hers, and Deb said, "Oh, you should meet my dad. He's a bit of a hippie guru, and people go to him for advice and that." She said, "You meet my dad." She said, "You'll love him." And of course, she didn't realise what she was saying, because when Nikki and I met, we really did fall in love. So that's how we met.
I thought he was nuts.
Oh, thanks.
No, when I first met him, not met anyone quite like him actually, and he gave me a huge cuddle, which was lovely and warm, and very warm in person, and yeah, he made me feel at home straight away.
I mean, once I realised my feelings for Nikki, I just kept proposing to her, and then we decided to. The 10th of April.
Yeah.
Last year.
Good Friday, good deed.
2009.
As my grandma put it.
we decided to actually tie the knot, yes. And we had a hippie wedding.
Yes.
With everybody dressed up.
Sorry. Completely different and off the wall to everything else. I've been to quite a few weddings where they're very traditional and very elegant and lovely, but I just really wanted to do something with a huge difference. And dress up, have fun, totally informal. A lot of people didn't get it, but...
After I'd been with Nikki for 2 years, I had 36 stories ready because she'd inspired me. Wow. She had, for example, one day she got lost her temper about something, and she said, "Oh, fudgerima." So instead of swearing, she said fudgerima. And I said, "What a brilliant idea." She said, "What?" I said, "Fudgerima, a fairy that can't spell." She said, "Do you want a cup of tea?" And I said, "Oh yes, I'll have a cup of tea," or something like that. I can't remember exactly. And she said, "Oh, certainly your royal hedgehog." And I thought, "Royal hedgehog?" And suddenly one of Fudgerima's friends is the royal hedgehog, you see. Nikki's not a planner, and that's taught me not to plan, Soon after we'd got together, actually started living together, Nikki was actually nursing at the time, wasn't you?
Yeah.
But and she'd got a weekend off, and she said, "How about going somewhere?" So I said, "All right, somewhere." She said, "I don't know." She said, "Let's hop in the car." And we finished up at Stonehenge and Avebury, and we just booked in where we happened to be, and it was one of the most fantastic weekends I've ever had, because it wasn't planned. We just did it.
It's actually my idea that him go back into doing acting, and
I did do it incidentally. I did stage work, and we used to make our own films, me and two friends.
Gave him an idea, and he went on Star Now, one of the other agents, come out say. And it went from there, and then Ray Knight contacted him and sent his website, and I just kind of went with the flow, and yeah. So I think I also helped with his website. When I first met him, he was updating it monthly. There's a long list of things he'd written down he wanted to update, and I remember thinking, why wait a month just to do that? why don't we live in the 21st century? You can update whenever you want.
Of course, we discovered YouTube, and then we extended the Wizardry Poo site onto YouTube, and we have the continuing wedding adventure we had, didn't we? That's on there. I see the site and the YouTube videos and everything for not so much for making money, but hopefully more and more people will look at it and say, look, this is the way life should be. You know, life should be an adventurous. I'll go when I'm ready. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Because if you keep thinking of things and you're having these adventures and enjoying life, it will just continue to do that, won't we?
Yeah.
Spread the love and light and knowledge, hopefully.
Yeah, and try and bring happiness to this world. There's not enough of it. Laughter, fun, you know, positive energy.
And love. I believe in love. Yeah, that's what it's all about. The future is love and hope for the world. There's no stopping it now.
However, when we're talking about sex, at a time when they should be at the peak of their performance, most of the students can't even get themselves up out of the settee, let alone get themselves up. However, if we look at this graph of the Duracell battery share price, we can see that the female species is more than happy to look after herself and push the balmy button in all the right places. This process can be seen as very anthropological. When we study chimps in group socialising, we see they become louder and more active. Especially when we play 90s cheese music, the dancing and strutting becomes even worse. Well, this process can be seen as very anthropological. When we study shrimps? Not shrimps, we don't even look at shrimps, so fuck that. This process can be seen as very anthropological. When we study when we study chimps in group socialising, this process can be seen as very fucking hell. There is concern among certain elements of society that the student species might eventually die out. However, with legislation as it is on animal testing, the students fulfilled a new role in society by becoming the new human guinea pig. This is good in two ways. First off, the student plays their own way, which is good for the taxpayer. And two, more importantly, every now and again I get to appear on television. And so, to my old headmaster, Mr. Gibbon at the Horsey School, Hemel Hempstead, who once said I would never achieve anything in life, yeah, well look at me now, Gibbon, look at me now, yeah? So fuck you, Gibbon, fuck you!
There's last minutes and last minutes, I guess. It always depends on how long it takes to complete the task.
So, how do you feel students cope with... sorry.
But can you believe that actually tutors are allowed to have sex with their students? You know, as long as they don't tell their managers and they don't mark their work. But, you know, a lot of people are very annoyed and feel in disgust, you know, about this news, you know, to hear this. But I haven't marked anything all year, so it's been brilliant.
You just stop caring. It's about time they grew up and just got on with it, really.
The quality, well, like I said, we never ate food at all, but what they eat nowadays, I don't know, it's all this carrot juice and celery sticks and stuff like that, isn't it? And fruit. I mean, that can't be healthy, can it? They're so skinny, aren't they now? It's you know, it's all what they call it? What they call it? Balsimia or something, is it, and all that? Because we used to jog all the time when I was a student. You know, we'd be caught doing something wrong in the laboratory or something, and one of the masters would come on, and we'd jog all the way around the block to get out of their way, really. But students don't seem to bother with that now, do they? and a bit of, what they call it? Pilates or something like that, is it? They call it? I thought that was like iron pilates, isn't it? Like fool's gold or something, but I don't know how they get on with that, whether they lift it or what they do with it, I don't know. It was quite easy. What we used to do, we used to have the lectures, and then we used to, after all that had finished and the masters and that were telling us everything, we used to go back, we used to have something to eat, and then we used to go to the pub, and we used to drink, you know, drink stuff and all that, and have a good night out, and then we used to pick a girl up, and then we used to take her back to our pad, and then we'd go to bed and let her catch up with it all and do it all for us, you see. So it was quite good, that, so we got it all done. Yeah. Well, of course, they've got all this open university stuff in it. Well, it's got to be open, isn't it? Because if it was closed, they couldn't do anything. So I just don't really understand that. I don't know. Yeah. What was the question again? You have methods for baking and things like this, don't you? And methods like, what they call them, it's the church stuff, isn't it? Methodists and things like that, you know. Now if they got a Methodist minister in, then they could teach them some of the methods to get their work done, I thought, you know. And then you learn it like parrot fashion, you know, or if they're very young, budgerigar fashion, I suppose, you know. No, they're not, like I told you before, you know, we used to use condoms all the time when we masturbated, but now they don't, you know. From what I've heard, they still use the condoms, but they put them on bananas, apparently. I don't know what good that does. Oh, yeah, we handled colds and flu a lot better because we had a laboratory, you see, and we used to have all the germs in little files, and we used to handle them that way. So we handled them a lot better than they do nowadays. Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Well, a good idea is a pill, you know, like an aspirin or cocodamol, anything like that, and just put them between your knees. That'll stop any colds and things and any diseases at all, really. That's what I'd recommend anyway. Yeah, well, of course, back in my day, we didn't have all this filth of cannabis and stuff like that, you know, and Charlie and all this sort of stuff. No, we socialised. I like to think we socialised a bit more, like, you know, we had glue sniffing, you know, sticks, industrial stuff, all good stuff it was, yeah, that was it, yeah, lovely, yeah, much better. They drink too much. Oh, well, no, it can't be discouraged because you dry up, wouldn't you, really? You know, I mean, like my plants, I have to water them, and we're the same, we have to drink. These bloody doctors, I mean, they just write anything out now, won't they, really? You know what I mean? Aspirins, cocodamol, procodamol, whatever they call them, and all that sort of stuff, you know. I mean, no, it can't be any good for you, can they? No. A good joint, maybe, but not all this bloody paracetamol and stuff, you know. No good for you, nah. Well, yeah, back in my days at university, we never actually ate food, you know. That was a fad that came in the 70s along with Led Zeppelin. And like Led Zeppelin, it's really never phased out, you know, it stayed, so. Oh, yeah, it helped me immensely, it did, because I did art. When you know, this is back when I was a student, it was art. So we used to do it, and what we used to have these big canvases, you know, and we used to slap paint all over them, and we'd drag naked girls across it like that, you know, and then we'd get a bike and ride it all over it, make these sort of patterns on it, and splash the paint on, things like that, and that decided me in what I was going to do when I was older. I became a painter and decorator. I'm rambling on a bit here, aren't I, don't you think? Yeah.
Right, now, going on
on that note, Katie, would you just like to be able to check that is definitely rolling still?
Yeah.
Just as a...
Revolving.
Yeah, it's still going.
Oh, we're all right.
You can square it up a bit because it will be cut, so it'll be fine.
There's just such a massive gap between you, and you're both right on the edge.
Oh, right.
We'll
Is that
cozy
better?
up.
Cozy up together.
You've got the wide square. There's literally just you two sitting.
Either end.
Columns at the end.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
That's a much tighter look, is it?
We don't want to start again. We just carry on.
No, we'll carry on.
Yeah.
But you'll have cut to a clip, and we'll come back and we'll.
Yeah, that's what we're going to cut.
Every time we cut away, we'll inch slowly closer together.
That's a good one, yeah.
Just arms round each other by the end of it.
No, we're not making one of those movies. Anyway, oh God. Anyway, where were we? Shall we go back to the?
Yeah. So if the student
Want some good stuff, man? It's good shit. It's good shit. You come back here, man. I need to feed my baby. Want to try something new? Get your ass back here, man. My children need food. You kids, shut the fuck up. We have the weed. You can't learn without weed. Weed, young sir? Come back here. I'm not done with you. You want some weed? You need it. You did good there, man. You did good, man. To some, infinite.
Picturing that there. It's all of the fuck.
Come on. Make a cup of tea. Do you know nothing? Did you go to university for 3 years not to learn how to make a fucking cup of tea? Who employed you? Because it wasn't fucking me, because I want a cup of tea. This is fucking freezing.
Ready?
Why would you do this? Eventually, during the fuck, I fucked it up. During all... There's a guy, give it a minute. I'm not disrobing. I'm being looked at. No! I'm trying to maintain at least some level of decency. Or... No! There's a guy right there!
He's on with his trousers down his ankles.
What's that? What happened there?
You're so filming.
I'm so sorry.
Wet patch.
They're so close to getting in your mouth.
You're so evil.
Okay, cut that. That effectively got enough there. Be careful with this. Don't cut yourself. I can't hold it, sorry. I don't think we do it.
Jelly beans for nipples. Sorry.